And welcome to this edition of the Native News Update on this Monday, November 16th. I'm your host for today's program, Paul Demain. Many of the stories read here can also be found at our website at IndianCountryNews.com. Here are the news stories for the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. A man who called himself an advocate for Native American children has been sentenced to 110 years in prison for raping and beating two girls. Kevin Paniska of Rapid City, South Dakota, was sentenced last week to 2 counts of second-degree rape and 1 count of aggravated child abuse. He will not be eligible for parole for 55 years. The 44-year-old Paniska, a former publisher of Well Nations magazine, pled guilty in August. Prosecutors dropped 9 other sex charges against him. In court, Paniska apologized to the victims for the hurt he caused and told them, "Nothing I can say will take it away." Authorities said the child abuse started in 2002 and continued until Paniska's arrest earlier this year. A coalition of environmentalists, including a Chumash Indian environmental group, have filed a lawsuit last week in California to stop the development of a 5,000-acre resort community in the sprawling Tijan Ranch property, some 60 miles north of Los Angeles. The lawsuit filed in Kern County Superior Court argues that county officials ignored its potential impact on the endangered California condor, while discounting flaws in the project's water use plan and air pollution problems from increased traffic in the now undeveloped area. Kern County supervisors last month unanimously approved the Tijan Mountain Village project, which includes 3,500 homes, 2 golf courses, and resort hotels on the Tehachapi Mountains. The rustic area is along heavily traveled Interstate 5. Attorney General Wayne Stenajim and North Dakota higher education officials are discussing how to respond to a judge's order that bars a change in the University of North Dakota's Fighting Sioux nickname. Stenajim said he talked with Board of Education President Richie Smith, University System Chancellor William Goetz, and higher education attorney Pete Seaworth. Stenajim would say only that they discussed generally some of the legal positions the state might take. He hopes to speak with the Board of Higher Education at its November 19th meeting in Minot. A judge has barred the board from changing the Fighting Sioux nickname until a December 9th court hearing. The order is in response to a lawsuit filed by Spirit Lake Sioux tribal members who support the nickname. They say the board must wait until November 2010 before making any decision to get rid of the moniker. Parts of a remote central Utah canyon decorated with ancient tribal art are being nominated for the National Register of Historic Places. The Bureau of Land Management last week nominated 63 sites along 9 Mile Canyon, which some call the world's longest art gallery. It contains more than 10,000 prehistoric rock carvings and paintings of bighorn sheep, owls, a 2-headed snake, spear-wielding hunters, and warriors engaged in hand-to-hand combat. In the coming years, the BLM in Utah plans to nominate more than 800 sites in the canyon for the National Register, according to Megan Crandall, an agency spokeswoman in Salt Lake City, Utah. She said it's the largest such attempt for an archaeological site in Utah. The canyon is a prized destination for rock art enthusiasts. It's also been a place of controversy because of plans for nearby mineral development. The BLM is about to launch another in-depth study on the nearby West Tavaputs Plateau. The agency has been considering a proposal that would allow about 800 more natural gas wells in the area and increased truck traffic in the narrow 78-mile road that snakes through the Sandstone and Shale Canyon. A special dedication took place November 11th for the 8 Hopi code talkers who served in World War II. A bronze plaque commemorating the code talkers was dedicated during a Veterans Day observance at the Hopi Veterans Memorial Center there in Hopi land. The plaque says, in part, the Hopi tribe pays tribute and recognition to the remarkable achievements of the 8 Hopi code talkers whose own language confounded the Japanese and contributed to the liberation of the South Pacific Islands. The last surviving Hopi code talker, Travis Yaiva, was invited to attend the ceremony. Salmon are on their way back to a 30-mile stretch of a creek near Ellensburg, Washington, that was once blocked by an irrigation dam. The Yakima Herald Republic reports the November 12th release of the coho salmon into Tannemon Creek as a result of 6 years of work by federal, state, tribal, and private partners in a $600,000 project. The 8-foot-high Bruton Ditch Dam has been replaced by a channel that mimics natural conditions for fish. The habitat restoration is the work of the Kitatis Conservation Trust, the Bureau of Reclamation, and the Yakima Nation, with funding through a state salmon recovery funding board grant. Governor Steve Beshear of Kentucky has declared November as Native American Heritage Month. The Democratic governor signed a proclamation during November marking the month as a time to reflect on Native American contributions to Kentucky history. Beshear says in his proclamation that Native Americans have made significant contributions to Kentucky's rich cultural heritage. He says their heritage enriches the lives of all Kentuckians and is worth preserving. Beshear signed the proclamation last week. And that is the latest roundup of news from Indian Country. On this edition of the Native News Update, we want to thank all of yous for joining with us again. Come back soon again and check out the news right here. Miigwech.